You can deep clean your entire kitchen while listening to a podcast. Easy, right? But you can't seem to answer that one email or the 400 emails that is sitting in your inbox. Like, you just can't. You could spend 3 hours researching the perfect planner, but to schedule that dentist appointment is the hardest thing on your entire task list today. You can hyper-focus on reorganizing your whole pantry and it looks like a magazine shoot. But that laundry is probably still sitting in that laundry basket and needs folded. If that sounds familiar, I want you to stay with me today because there's a reason for all of that. And I think once you understand it, a little bit of the shame and guilt around it will start to melt off. Hey, I'm Jessica Lynn Lewis, and this is Quick Wins for ADHD Moms, the show that gives your brain one small win that can actually use today. Well, here's today's quick win. Today's quick win is more of an experiment. I guess they're all experiments, but I want to give this to you before I explain why it works. Because if your brain is anything like mine, you'll pay better attention to the explanation once you have something to test it against. I was doing some research on resonance and frequency because I like to take ideas and blend them together and see how this all fits, right? And with the ADHD brain, and I'm like, there's got to be some kind of resonance frequency thing connected to it. And so that's kind of how I've built this episode, is based on resonance. So today's quick win is pick one task that you've just been avoiding. It's been sitting on your list. Not your worst one, but just a mildly annoying one. Okay, now set a timer for 20 minutes. And before you start, try putting on some brown noise. It's like that low hum fan noise, maybe some white noise, maybe some instrumental music or your favorite band. Maybe get coffee shop ambiance or a body double, maybe calling your best friend while you fold laundry, or have a YouTube video on or watch Netflix. Pair it with something that is kind of keeps your brain moving, if that makes sense. You can find brown noise or white noise on YouTube. There's literally whole long videos of just brown noise or white noise, or just search ADHD focus music. There's like a certain frequency that works. I don't know the science behind it. Maybe that's another show. The exact science behind it. Just put something on to help your brain focus on a few other things while you're doing a task that you don't really want to do. And then the quick win is reflecting on that experience. So your only job during those 20 minutes while you're doing that task is, do I feel more locked in while I'm doing this, while I have this brown noise or white noise or frequency music on? Or am I more distracted or irritated? That's it. You're not going to fix your brain. You're just kind of tuning it. So why does any of that work? Well, let's talk about it. And the concept I want you to sit with today, and I've mentioned this before, is resonance. So resonance is just when something clicks, right? It's when your brain feels awake and it feels alive, and your attention kind of happens on its own instead of you having to drag it there by force. ADHD brains are often what researchers describe as under-aroused in their attention networks. So it doesn't mean maybe they're lazy, it just means their brain's baseline stimulation level is a little bit different than someone else's, maybe more neurotypical brain. And it needs a different kind of input to get traction. So maybe think of it this way. My background is in radio. And if you're old enough, like me, you remember being in the car and flipping through the stations before the digital stations, the analog stations. And imagine that old radio. You're trying to find and tune in that station, and you hear all that static. So the signal is there. The radio station is broadcasting the music. But you have to keep adjusting the dial frequency to hear it clearly so it comes in. So the radio is not broken. It's just that the radio needs a little more fine-tuning than most. Research actually shows that moderate background noise can improve focus for people with inattentive ADHD profiles. There's this concept called stochastic resonance. It's a phenomenon where random noise improves the detection of weak signals in a system. And it's often applied in neuroscience and physics. Stochastic resonance, just basically means a small amount of extra noise can help the brain detect the signal more clearly. So when I was in high school, I played basketball, and we would wait for the junior high teams to get done. And in the meantime, I would be working on my homework. And it was loud. The varsity, everybody's cheering, the sneakers are squeaking on the floor, the refs are blowing their whistles, and people would walk by me as I'm like completely hyper-focused on doing my homework. They walk by and they're like, "How can you possibly focus?" And honestly, it was one of the most natural environments that I could focus in. Like I was hyper-focused, locked in, getting stuff done during all of this, what seemed like chaos. But I think it was more of resonance. I just didn't really understand that yet. And it's not the same for everyone. If you're more hyperactive or impulsive in your ADHD profile, maybe extra sensory noise could make things worse. Which is why one ADHD mom feels silence unbearable and another one finds it perfectly calming. They're both right, they're just tuned a little bit differently. So what you're doing is you're kind of finding out what is your focus frequency. What helps you focus more? Is it more noise? Is it less noise? I don't know. That's for you to figure out. So now we kind of understand what this resonance kind of thing is and why your brain craves it. So let's talk about how to actually design for it. So there's a couple different layers here. There's sound and environment, and they kind of build on each other. On sound, the research points to a few things that tend to help inattentive ADHD profiles. Brown noise, like the lower, richer humming of the fan. White noise, like that classic static, like TV static hiss. A coffee shop ambiance. Instrumental music, put on some Bach, some Mozart, any kind of classical music. The key is just moderate stimulation. Not silence, but not chaos. It's just finding that sweet spot in between. So sound is just kind of the starting point as you're reflecting on, what is working for you. Sound is a starting point because you've got the right audio environment. So the next thing is what is your body doing? Your physical body doing? I installed this standing desk in my studio, and I have a wiggly chair that moves while I sit, so it kind of changes the way I work. I like movement. It's kind of its own form of stimulation. And for a lot of ADHD brains, a body that's slightly engaged is a brain that's a little bit more available. So once you've got kind of your sound and your body positioning working for you, there's one more layer that helps to tie it all together. It's a design trigger. So before I enter something that I don't really want to do, but here we are, I'll put on some music while I'm gathering my documents or getting ready to work. And by the time the music starts competing with my thinking, I'm already hyper-focusing and I can turn the music down. It's just a starting point. It's like the on-ramp. So you're training your brain to associate that input with, okay, now we're going to focus. And eventually it just starts doing the work for you. It becomes a habit. And I don't think your brain is just looking for the sound input. It's looking for meaning, urgency, novelty, and identity alignment. Think about why you build a business overnight, assuming you're building businesses. If you're like me, you've got like a history of businesses. But think about why you could design a website overnight, but you just can't meal plan for the week. Like it's the hardest thing. Well, one of those tasks has resonance and it connects with what I love and what I love to do and design. And the other one just feels more abstract or delayed, or it just takes more thinking power. So it's not really a discipline problem. It's more of a neurological thing. So when a task, like when it's really hard for you to go, I need to peel myself off this couch because I have a lot of things I need to do today. Don't start with, you're so lazy. Why can't you just get yourself off the couch? Start asking yourself, okay, where's the resonance missing here? Where's the movement or urgency? Do I need a body double? Do I need to put a timer on? Do I need to put some music on? Look around your environment. Think about your body position. Think about, and this is not being sick. That's a whole different on the couch kind of day, right? This is just like, I know what I need to do. I just can't get started. So, all right, that's fine. Let's start reflecting on what's challenging me right now. Why, what if, I love using that phrase, what if I put on my favorite music? What if I'm able to say, Alexa, play classical music? And then within 30 seconds, my brain's like, okay, engaged, go. I can get up off the couch now. So it's trying to figure out what's not resonating in your environment. Sometimes, right, you cannot control it. But many times, I think we can control it more than we think. We can design it better. We can always design our own environments better. So take a breath with me for a second. And I want you to think about how much energy you've spent over the years trying to work against your brain instead of with it. Maybe you didn't even know you were doing this. I didn't. Maybe you were sitting in silence because focus is just supposed to look like you're paying attention, and silence will help you focus better. Maybe trying to grind through boring tasks with nothing but willpower isn't working, and you shouldn't feel ashamed about that. It's just you come to the realization that, you know what, a silent environment doesn't really work for me. Or a chaotic environment doesn't work for me. I need earplugs. Game changer. It wasn't necessarily that you were failing at focus. You were just living in this wrong frequency. The radio wasn't tuned in. And that shift from why can't I just do this to, okay, what does my brain need right now to engage? That's the shift. That's the work that you need to do to figure out how to function better. So not forcing yourself into a system that wasn't built for your brain, redesigning your environment, designing something that is made for your brain. It's looking back and thinking about those instances, like when I was at the basketball game and I was like super hyper-focused on doing all my homework and getting it done. Looking back and going, oh, wow, okay, so maybe I just need a little more input in my environment for me to focus better. You're finding resonance that works with your brain. So stop treating it as a coincidence that when I have music on, I actually get the house clean. It's not a coincidence. You're actually designing something that works for you. It's a design principle. Well, if something in today's episode really hit for you and you're sitting there thinking, I need a reset, I need somewhere to start, I have something for you. I've got the dopamine hit list. It's a free one-page download with quick wins organized by time of day. You've got your morning, midday, afternoon, nighttime, and what to do when you're completely frozen. So it's not a planner. It's not a whole system. It's just a list of small things that could actually work with your brain chemistry. You can grab it for free at theadhdmom.com. I'll say that again, theadhdmom.com to go find your dopamine hit list. Have a wonderful week.